Hello, my name is Chris Ho, and today I want to talk with you about gun control legislation and its effects on gun sales. In recent years, there have been a number of mass shootings involving high-capacity assault-style weapons. Tragedies like the ones in Aurora, Colorado and Newtown, Connecticut have sparked political interest in the use and availability of military-style weapons. Today, I will discuss how the push for gun law reform is causing an increase in gun sales, especially those that resemble military-style weapons. I'm going to talk about political and media pressure to reform gun laws, the banning of certain weapons and features, the fear of gun buying restrictions, how that fear is causing a surplus of targeted guns in society, and the alternatives to gun restrictions. Whenever a mass shooting occurs, there is a firestorm of political and media pressure to ban guns used in these crimes. The induction of new Democratic presidential administrations leads to fears that restrictions on firearms purchases. The problem that legislators face is that there is a fine line about what suddenly makes a semi-automatic firearm into a semi-automatic assault weapon. Generally, this has more to do with the appearance of the weapon than actual functionality. We've talked about political and media pressure. Now let's talk about the banning of certain weapons and features. The assault weapons ban of 1994 prohibited the possession, transfer, and manufacture of certain semi-automatic weapons, as these weapons are most often used in mass shootings. Some weapons and features that were restricted under the ban were flash hiders, folding stocks, threaded barrels for the attachment of silencers, and magazines capable of holding large numbers of bullets. The National Institute of Justice performed a study and found that the 1994 to 2004 federal bans on the production of large capacity magazines had no benefit because the existing supply of magazines of this nature was so immense. We've talked about banning certain weapons and features. Now let's talk about the fear of gun buying restrictions. With mass shootings occurring more often and having a Democratic president in the White House for several years, consumers fear the possibility of more restrictions on firearms purchases. The director for the National Shooting Sports Foundation said that an increase in gun sales can be attributed to the political and economical factors. Retailers capitalize on this fear by offering extreme firearms discounts. We've talked about the fear of gun buying restrictions. Now let's talk about the surplus of targeted guns in society. Gun patents are currently at a 35-year high. The Huffington Post reported that gun sales has risen dramatically since the Newtown, Connecticut shooting. When reported, net sales had increased up to 44% since the beginning of 2013. In Cofer and Ross' speculative demand and response model, it is suggested that components of the supply chain, such as manufacturers, wholesalers, and retailers, would have responded to pre-ban demand by increasing their products or sales volume. We've talked about the surplus of targeted guns in society. Now let's talk about the alternative to gun restrictions. One alternative to gun restrictions is to keep children and juveniles away from unsecured firearms. Another is to aim to reduce illegal gun trafficking. A reduction in interpersonal firearm violence is yet another alternative to gun restrictions. And last, arm more law-abiding citizens, and in turn, criminals will be less likely to participate in confrontational crimes. The political pressure to produce gun control legislation is creating a surplus of assault weapons and high-capacity magazines. Despite the effort to do the opposite, media and government outcry for gun control is creating a fear for gun enthusiasts and consumers, and therefore a rise in demand. This rise in demand is causing a flood of guns into the primary and secondary market and increasing the availability of high-capacity assault weapons.